Okay, so we talk about block ciphers, the designs and key lengths. But now the question is, what can go wrong, or what are the problems that we face when we use symmetric key encryption algorithms? So one of the problems is key management. We said that keys must be exchanged between the communicating parties using a secure communication channel like meeting in person before they can use the block cipher. To communicate with M people, one has to securely exchange N keys, right? So this is a hard problem. Think about every web page you visit. You cannot go physically to each of them and then give them a secret key for it. So there are some solutions. One solution is using public key encryption algorithms like RSA or AlGamal. But the thing is that they are slower than block ciphers or stem ciphers. So here they cause a performance issue, also bandwidth issues, because in block ciphers, the plain text and the ciphertext length are identical, right? But in public key algorithms, the size of the ciphertext might be larger than the plain text, so you're actually sending extra data. So this might cause a bandwidth issue. Not that much, but still, there's no need to do it if we can use block cipher. So second solution is the most preferred solution. Use key exchange algorithms like Diffie-Hellman key exchange, then use like a block cipher like AES. So this problem is solved. So this is actually what you do when you visit a web page. Using a Diffie-Hellman like key exchange algorithm, you agree on a secret key, then start using it and use that key by using AES, for instance. A second problem is key storage. Storing keys directly on the hard drive or RAM can be a problem. So this is a huge problem because at the end of the day, this is the thing you want to keep secret, but you also need to use it. So how you can do it in a secure way? So you can keep it on a file on your hard drive, but if there is a Trojan in your system, somebody can download that file, right? So this is actually why when you create when you use cryptocurrencies and you have a wallet software, when you create for instance, a Bitcoin address, you actually create a secret key, and that is kept in a file on your drive. So the software tells you that if you don't encrypt this file, you will not be secure because somebody might capture it and then, sign any transaction as if it is you. So they can actually withdraw all of your money. And one solution is to, encrypt that file using AES. But again, to encrypt it, you need to have a secret key, right? So it goes in an infinite loop. So one solution is to use a password-based key derivation algorithm. So all you need to remember your password and keep it a secret. And from that password, you create an AES key. With that AES key, you encrypt your private key for that wallet address. Okay, so this is one solution. But still, this doesn't solve everything, because whenever you want to make a transaction, for instance, the system will ask your password because they have to regenerate the key to decrypt the file. But once you enter your password, if there's a keylogger in the system, it is still lost, right? Or when you enter a password and regenerate the key, if somebody can get a dump of your memory, they can still get the key. So one solution is to use a thumb drive and keep the secret key there and do all of the encryption and decryption on that device, and that secret key never leaves that device. Okay, so this is what we do when we do electronic signatures in Turkey. You have a USB drive and your secret key is in that drive, and we are assuming that it is built in a secure hardware. So if you lose the device, nobody can get the key, but you do all of the cryptographic algorithms like signing or verifying on that device. But still, you cannot have a thumb drive for every secret key you have. So this is actually an open problem, and there is no good solution. A third problem is message length hiding. So not many people consider this as a problem, but in practice, it might be a problem. The thing is that plain text and corresponding ciphertext lengths are identical when you use symmetric key encryption algorithms like block ciphers or stem ciphers. So if the adversary knows the context of the communication, then they can guess the plaintext just by looking at the ciphertext length. Okay, so here's an example. Some web page encrypts the forms filled by the user, but the remaining parts sent unencrypted. So this is generally what they do, by the way. So an example from a medical form is like this. So question is, did you ever have a surgery? If yes, provide details. So this question goes as a plain text, but your answer goes as the encrypted way, as the ciphertext. So you might think that since it is encrypted, they wouldn't know my answer. But if the user's answer to this question provides a short ciphertext, namely a single block, then most probably the answer was no to this question. But if the ciphertext was long, then the answer was most probably yes, because you provided details to this. So this is one of the problems. A solution to this is that you can add random bits to the plain text before encryption to hide message length. And some protocols supports this. There are some options. So you put extra information to your plain text, some random bits, but maybe in a special order, so that the person, or in a special pattern. So when the person decrypts it, they know that that part is extra and they remove it. So this way you kind of hide your message length. But of course, this solution causes more data to be transmitted. In the past, I did some research on this. So if you want, you can look at it. Okay, the fourth problem is key generation. So this is a huge problem, and this is where actually governments would like to have a backdoor in it. Okay, and in the past, we had some backdoors for this, for random number generators, because to obtain k-bit security, the k-bit key should be generated randomly. Okay, so think about it in this way. You are using AES in your daily life without noticing it when you use WhatsApp, Zoom, or visit any web page, and you never create your own keys, right? The computer does it for you, or your mobile phone does it for you. So they should have a good random number generator so that they are doing this in a correct way. Because if your random number generator is not good, then the attacker, and if the attacker knows this, they can perform the brute force attack in that way. For instance, it doesn't matter if your block cipher uses a 128-bit secret key. If all the time, if you choose your first 64 bits as zeros, then this means that you have 64-bit security, right? And sometimes people do this, and some platforms do this. Sometimes by implementation errors, sometimes they do it deliberately, okay? So how you can generate a secret key in a random way? You cannot flip a coin all the time, right? For instance, if you want to use RSA 4096, you cannot flip a coin 4,000 times and then record tails and heads and then turn them to zeros and ones. So you should have a fast method of doing this. One solution is using cryptographically secure random number generators. And there's a nice research on this area. You have to perform some statistical tests or entropy tests to check if the random number generator really generates good random numbers. But again, here you cannot only rely on the results. I mean, the produced random numbers, produced output and then perform tests on it. You need to know how they are generated. For instance, an easiest way to put a backdoor like this to a random number generator is to use AES, choose a secret key, then run it in the counter mode, and the ciphertext you will produce as a random number, and people think that yes, they are really random, but actually they are produced from AES with a secret key, and you know the secret key. This way you can actually know every random number that that person is going to generate. So just looking at the output is not enough. You have to check how they are generated. Second solution is password-based key derivation algorithms. These are really nice. So idea is as follows. You choose a strong password, then hash that password thousands of times, and at the end, you have a hash output. Then you use it as a secret key. So whenever you need the secret key, you re-enter your password and regenerate the secret key. And when you're done with it, you remove it from the memory. So this will be more clear when we talk about hash functions. Final question is that we have seen some examples of block ciphers where there are runs, and number of runs changes, like, right? Because in AES we have 10 runs. In DES, so of course AES supports three key lengths, so the number of runs changes depending on the secret key lengths. But DES has 16 runs. Presence has 31 runs. So the question is, when I design a cipher, how many runs should I choose, right? Unfortunately, there is no direct answer or scientific answer, because this depends on how much security and performance you want. Increasing the number of runs produces more security, but causes performance loss. So if you make it really small, then you will have a lot of performance, but most probably you will lose security and it will be broken. So the common belief is that increasing the number of runs increases security. However, it will decrease the performance. A common practice is as follows. Designers apply every known cryptanalysis techniques, and if they can break n runs, then they choose the run number R as larger than or equal to the double of n. Because you could break n runs and design it to n runs or more to stay on the safe side. Because attacks always gets better. People will come up with new ideas, new ways to analyze it. So if you can break n runs, one day later somebody will come up with an attack that breaks n+1 rounds or more. Okay, so for this reason, you increase R so that you stay on the safe side. So before finishing this, I will give two exercises. These are thinking exercises. If you can answer these questions and understand these questions, actually you will understand a lot of hard topics in cryptography. So this first question is about cryptanalysis, and actually this is about how every statistical attacks work. So let me give a real world example, and then when we talk about cryptanalysis, this will make sense. So question is as follows. You are given a dice and you are allowed to roll it to see the results as many times as you want. You are asked to determine if the dice you have is a fair dice or it is a biased dice which rolls 6 with probability 1/3. What would you do? So there's a fair dice which rolls 6 with probability 1/6, but there's a biased dice which rolls 6 with probability 1/3. Okay, so I'm giving you one of these dice, but I'm not telling you which one I gave. Okay, maybe it is fair or biased. So all you can do, actually, you have the dice and you can roll it as many times as you want and look at the results. So question is, what would you do to determine that it is fair or biased? So if you can answer this question, actually, then you can understand how cryptanalysis works. Second question is about collisions, especially in hash functions. But this is about birthday. This is called birthday paradox. So question is, how many people we need to have in a room so that we have two people with the same birthday with probability greater than 1/2? So think about it in this way. You have an empty room. One person enters. Of course, since there is only one person, he cannot share his birthday with another person, right? So the second person comes into the room. So it is a very low probability event that those two people now share the birthday, right? Then the third person comes, fourth person comes. So after which person enters the room, you think that, okay, maybe there are two guys in the room that share the same birthday. So question is this. You can actually, calculate this by pen and paper.